Young and the Restless Spoilers reveal that Victoria may be facing a heartbreak in the face of horrifying secrets. The pain and anxiety are building up inside her, making everything around her blurry. Before her eyes is Cole, the man she once loved, who is now facing death. Their love was once deep, but years of separation have caused these feelings to fade, leaving only a deep sense of regret. Victoria never thought that today, when she returns to Cole, would be the day everything between them would end. A cruel disease has taken away all hope from them. And now, as Cole is dying, she not only has to face the loss of the man she once loved, but also the dark truths he is about to reveal. Cole's last words may change everything, especially the relationship between her and Claire. Victoria and Cole have been through a lot, but after so many years apart, they were finally able to reunite. However, no one could have expected that this reunion would take place under such painful circumstances. Cole is facing a serious illness, a disease that could take his life at any moment. In the short moments left, Cole has only one wish, a wedding with Victoria, so that before he leaves, he can feel the completeness of the love he once had. But what Victoria could not have expected was that, in these final hours, Cole decided to reveal a terrible secret. A secret that Cole had kept hidden for so many years, a truth that would shake everything Victoria thought was solid. Claire, the daughter that Victoria raised and loved like her own, was not her biological daughter. Claire had been lying to Victoria all this time. All their plans, all their illusions of a happy family, were all created by Claire. This secret was not only a shock to Victoria about Claire's identity, but also a deep betrayal. Her mind could not handle all the conflicting emotions, when on the one hand, she felt like she had been deceived for too long, but on the other hand, she could not deny the love she had for Claire. She had devoted everything to protecting, loving and building a happy family with Claire, but now, it was all just a lie. Victoria stood still, unable to speak. Her heart ached, not only because of the pain of losing the man she once loved, but also because of the feeling that she had been deceived by the person she once trusted the most. She could not understand, why could Claire do such a thing? Why did she set such a cruel trap? Can she forgive the girl she once considered her own, or will the trauma drag her into a spiral of crisis from which she cannot escape? With Cole still in critical condition, Victoria faces a difficult decision. Can she marry Cole, fulfilling his last wish, before he is gone forever? Will a hasty wedding, in the final hours of Cole's life, bring her peace, or will it only increase her pain and disappointment? Time seems to stand still, and every choice puts Victoria at a crossroads from which there is no turning back. She wants to do the right thing, but everything is too complicated. Cole's death, his confession, and the truth about Claire, all of it forces her to face an irreversible reality. She must decide whether she can hold on to something of the love she lost, or whether it will all just be a painful memory that cannot be forgotten. And all the while, in her pain and confusion, one question kept repeating in Victoria's mind: had she missed her second chance, her only chance to rebuild her life with Cole? Victoria Newman stood alone by the window, looking out at the hazy view of Genoa City at dusk. The hospital room was cold and silent, not a sound breaking the eerie silence. All she could hear was the steady breathing of Cole, the man she had loved, and now, facing death. Each breath he took reminded her of the fragility of life and the cruelty of time. After many years apart, Victoria and Cole had found each other again. However, just as their happiness was beginning to blossom, tragedy struck. Cole was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and his time was running out. In that painful moment, Victoria felt one thing clearly. She could not let him go without doing something important. She could not let the lost years pass by in vain. With all her determination and burning love for Cole, Victoria knew she had to do something to preserve their last precious moments. And so, she decided to plan a hasty wedding, one that she and Cole would never forget, no matter how much time they had left. "We don't have much time," Victoria sighed, looking at Cole again. "But I will do everything to make you my husband, before it's too late." Although she had never envisioned herself having such a hasty wedding, Victoria couldn't let her worries and insecurities take over. She couldn't let time pass without a meaningful last memory with the man she loved. And in these difficult hours, she understood that happiness sometimes isn't a luxury but rather the simple, ordinary moments, but they have immense value. When the wedding plans were announced to family and friends, surprise was inevitable. Everyone knew that Cole was in critical condition, and no one expected a wedding under such circumstances. But Victoria didn't care what others thought. She just wanted to do what was best for Cole and herself in the little time she had left. "Victoria, I know we don't have much time, but do you really want to do this?" Victor, Victoria's father, asked her during a tense conversation. He couldn't help but worry about his daughter, especially when she decided to hastily hold a wedding under such circumstances. However, after seeing Victoria's determined gaze, he couldn't stop her. "No one can decide our timing, father," Victoria replied, her voice firm. "But I know what I want. And that is for Cole to be my husband, before he passes away." The Newman family, though nervous, eventually accepted Victoria's decision. They began planning the wedding, although it would take place under the most difficult of circumstances. Everything happened quickly: congratulations, gifts, and wistful looks from friends and relatives. Victoria and Cole seemed to be living in a dream, where joy could not be separated from infinite sadness. Although everything around them might be chaotic and confusing, Victoria was always by Cole's side, taking care of him every bit, and making sure he felt the love she had for him. In their last days together, they did not talk much about their illness or the impending separation. Instead, they spent their time living each moment to the fullest, knowing that this was all they had. Their wedding took place in an atmosphere that was both romantic and gloomy. Close friends and family gathered together to witness the union of two loving hearts whose time was short. As Victoria and Cole stood before each other, the vows were not simply words, but a deep commitment, a farewell, and a promise to remember each other forever even if they had to part. "I will be your wife, Cole, no matter what. I will love you forever," Victoria said, her eyes welling up with tears, but her smile could not hide the happiness in that brief moment. However, this wedding was not only a union of love, but also the beginning of a sad journey. Cole may not have much time left to live, but in his final hours, he felt the fulfillment of the love he had sought all his life. In the days that followed, as Cole lay in his hospital bed, Victoria sat beside him, holding his hand as a way to feel the last bit of warmth. Though the pain continued to torment her, she did not regret doing this, because she knew that they had had their last happy moments together. But after the wedding, a terrible truth gradually emerged. In his final moments, Cole revealed to Victoria a secret that he had kept hidden for years. A secret that could shatter everything Victoria thought was solid. Claire, the daughter Victoria loved like her own, was not her biological daughter. Everything Victoria had built, the feelings she had for Claire, now became a painful and unbelievable story. And so, Victoria and Cole's wedding was not only the end of a beautiful love story but also the beginning of an inevitable psychological battle, when Victoria had to face the heartbreaking truth about her family and the people she loved. Love can last through time, but can Victoria overcome this trauma to continue living her life to the fullest? The answer is still a question mark, but the last moments with Cole will always be an unforgettable memory in her heart. Claire stood alone in the dark room, her hands clenched into fists, her gaze fixed on the window, where the dark night sky reflected the heaviness of her mind. Anxiety was building, as if something was about to happen, an unstoppable wave was coming. Her life, already filled with secrets and conflicts, was now at a more difficult crossroads than ever. Claire couldn't help but feel the pressure weighing down on her, and the worst part was that she couldn't figure out what was coming next. Just a week ago, everything had seemed so right. She and Kyle had been happy together, dreaming of a future together. But everything changed quickly when Victor Newman, the powerful man she had once trusted, began to turn the tables. Victor, who she thought was the protector of her family, has now become the biggest threat to her love. He is not only plotting to separate Claire and Kyle, but is also playing a calculating game, using every trick in the book to achieve his goals. Victor's interference in her life is not simply manipulation, but a direct attack on her heart. And what makes Claire feel even more helpless is that she cannot avoid the conflict between duty and love. Nikki Newman, Victor's wife and someone who has a very close relationship with Claire, decides to be the one to gently prepare Victor for the upcoming developments. However, she cannot predict her husband's reaction. Whenever Victor feels threatened or something goes against his plan, he does not hesitate to get angry. When Nikki comes to tell Victor about the current situation and the possible dangers in the relationship between Claire and Kyle, he cannot keep calm. He even went crazy and gave Claire an ultimatum, to choose between protecting the Newman family or continuing the relationship with Kyle. Victor has always been a calm and sharp person, but when his power is threatened, he does not hesitate to use all means to overwhelm others. He wants Claire to understand that if she continues the relationship with Kyle, she will not only have to face his anger, but also lose her position in the family. This ultimatum is not only a warning, but also a real threat to Claire, making her think hard about her choices. Meanwhile, Audra, the scheming woman that Victor trusts, has been assigned the task of separating Claire and Kyle. With her cunning and acumen in manipulating the situation, Audra begins her plan. She is constantly looking for opportunities to gradually distance Claire and Kyle, exploiting every loophole in their relationship to create misunderstandings and cracks. Audra is not someone to be defeated easily, and with Victor's direction, she certainly will not give up easily. Audra's goal is to make Claire feel insecure and push her into a situation where she cannot return to Kyle. However, in all this turmoil, Claire can only focus all her attention on Cole, who she has just discovered is facing a dangerous illness. Cole's time is running out, and Claire knows that she must do everything to be with him in his final days. Every moment with Cole becomes precious to Claire, and she cannot let Victor's power games take over her mind. The situation between Claire and Kyle is becoming increasingly tense. While Claire spends all her time with Cole, Kyle cannot help but feel abandoned. Although he understands that Claire is facing a harsh situation, his heart can't help but feel hurt. And when Claire no longer has time for him, Kyle begins to reminisce about old times with Summer, with whom he once had a romantic relationship. Will Summer be able to heal Kyle's broken heart, or will he continue to feel lonely in love? But what makes things more complicated is Audra's intervention. Not only is she trying to separate Claire and Kyle, Audra also has to face Victor's anger. Although Victor has given Claire an ultimatum, his schemes don't always yield the desired results. Audra is not only used by Victor as a pawn in his power play, but she also has to face his anger if she fails to complete her mission. During this time, Claire cannot help but feel exhausted both physically and mentally. She has to endure the pressure from both the Newman family and her love for Kyle. Although she knows that she is doing the right thing by being with Cole, she cannot deny that she still has feelings for Kyle. And when she is stuck between the two choices, she realizes that nothing in this life is easy. As things become more tense, Claire must make the most difficult decision of her life. Can she continue to fight for her love for Kyle, or will she have to face the truth about her family and Victor's irresistible demands? Where will the pull between love and family duty lead Claire? She will have to decide quickly, before it is too late.